I have been absolutely blown away by all the fan art that people have been sending in on my Discord. When I started this channel a couple of years back, I never thought that I would get to a point where people are actually making art of Quilby. I mean, it's mind-blowing to me. So, in this video, I thought I'd pay it forward and I'd make some fan art for some of my favourite YouTubers. If you've been watching this channel for a while, then you'll already know that I'm really bad at Minecraft, and what you're about to find out is that I'm really bad at drawing as well. But you know what? It's a bit of fun, it's something a bit different, and hopefully a nice relaxing video. So, first up we have Avid, who's the co-creator of Chunklock. One thing you might not know about Avid is that he heads up a fairly large community of Minecraft content creators. And one thing that he said a couple of times, which has really stuck with me, is all boats rise with the tide. In other words, when one of us succeeds, we all succeed. And that to me just really speaks to Avid's selflessness and generosity. He's not just in this for himself, he really wants to build this community and help other people to succeed. So here we have Avid in the foreground, who's riding the tide as it comes in. You know, he's doing very well for himself, so he's already caught the tide. But here we can see these other creators in the distance who are about to be lifted on the tide as it comes in. Drawing Avid was quite hard until I realised that he has very prominent eyebrows. So I just replicated that in the image and I think it looks a little bit like him. He does look a little bit like an anime character, so I sort of leaned into that with the big sword. I tried to make this landscape in the distance look a little bit Minecrafty without actually having to draw 10,000 cubes. My art style is extremely simple. I'm basically just using solid colours and then a lighter and darker variant of each colour just to add a bit of shading. My next drawing is for Leon SBU, who was my successor in UHC Generations, and this is inspired by a very silly scene from one of his episodes.
Unleash the deluge of gourds from out of the bowels of this machine.
I was trying to show Leon as this sort of cute penguin being flung up into the air on a jet of water and pumpkins. I'm not sure how well it turned out, but my hand was starting to hurt towards the end. I'm not sure I have the best drawing techniques, so this will have to do. It's quite a hard perspective to draw from, like this top-down view. And I've also once again made my life difficult by trying to draw water, which is just not an easy thing to draw. You can see a little bit of Industry Park in the background here. I also started zooming in a lot more for some of the finer details, which doesn't make for the best time lapse, but it did make my life a lot easier. I spent way longer than I'd care to admit shading in these pumpkins. This next drawing is for Flaming Moai, my predecessor in UHC Generations. He may not be making videos anymore, but his legacy lives on. And that is what I wanted to capture with this sort of striking, iconic Moai in the foreground and Founders Town in the background. I think this might actually be my favourite of the pieces that I drew. I know it's still not amazing, but when you compare the initial sketch to the final piece, to me there's something encouraging in that, because it's easy to give up when you first start something because you think this is terrible. But if you just keep working on it, sure enough, it will eventually become not terrible. I'm not super happy with the mountains. I kind of wanted to make them look jagged and vaguely realistic, but it just ended up looking a bit messy, and I just don't think they fit in too well with the rest of the image. To finish things off, of course, I had to add the fire. Having a statue on fire creates a lot of really cool opportunities for lighting and shadow, but sadly I'm just not skilled enough for that, so I settled for something fairly basic. Okay, last but not least, we have a YouTuber who needs no introduction. This is... what? I don't remember drawing this. Wait a minute, what is... Ah!